So we have a large panel, and I guess a lot of voices to hear in what will turn out to be a short period of time. We're lucky to have a panel of people who represent some individual efforts at various levels in developing their own cybersecurity programs. So I'm gonna have you go and let us know who you are, and then we can go back through and you can talk about what it is you've developed. And then at the end, maybe we'll talk about some lessons learned, maybe help other people who are interested in creating some of these programs. We'll start here at this end.
Okay. Good afternoon. I'm Jenny Muller, and I'm the Academy Administrator at Chantilly Governor STEM Academy. That's in Fairfax County Public Schools in Northern Virginia. And I was here to talk a little bit about our Cyber Patriot program, how it works in our school.
Okay. Hi, I'm Mark Nagurney, and as Ms. Mueller, I'm with Fairfax County Public Schools. I'm at the other Governor STEM Academy, which is Marshall Academy, and we are offering for the first time this year a cybersecurity class with the goal of a Security Plus CompTIA certification at the end of the year. And to align with that, we've revamped the network side to go for the Network Plus. And we've always had the A+. So the goal would be that the students, over the semesters or years that they're at the academy, they can do A+, Network Plus, and Security Plus. Hopefully, by the time they graduate. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Rick Robb. I'm the administrator for the Career Academies for Howard County in Maryland. We have an early college program, which I'll go more into detail a little bit later. But it's basically a 5-year program in which sophomores can come in. And when they go through the program, they can get the network security or cybersecurity associate's degree with holding hands with Howard County Community College, and then immediately jumping into College Parker, a college of their choice for 60 credits. So they get it a year earlier, and the junior, senior year, they're able to dive right into cybersecurity.
My name is Shanice White, and I am the Instructional Program Coordinator and Internship Coordinator at Charles Herbert Flowers High School in Prince George's County, Maryland.
Hi, I'm Marilyn Fitzpatrick, and I'm the Computer Science Academy Coordinator for Charles Flowers High School.
Hello, I'm William Butler. I'm chair of the Cybersecurity Program at Capital Technology University.
All right, so while we're down there, why don't you start? Marilyn, you want to take the first question? She still doesn't want to be there.
Okay, so what my role, what we have started at our high school is a Computer Science Academy, and they start with 9th graders, so it's 9 through 12. But also a part of this is to get them college and career ready, and they have to take a certification as well as take AP classes. And part of the certification is cybersecurity. So we're investigating how we can get a Cisco or something so they can get certified by the time they're in 12th grade.
See, you're awesome. Good.
Yes, in our cybersecurity program, we have the reason we're here together is because we have a partnership with Flowers High School. I get to mentor Flowers High School seniors every year in the cybersecurity program. They're in my lab right now, going to a lab while I'm here, so they're outstanding as far as I'm concerned, and I wish I could get more of them to mentor them, and got students at University of Maryland, Elon, UMBC, all over. I have some in Capital, by the way, so I'm very happy with the program.
Okay, and I'm happy to send as many students as Capital will allow me to send. I'm a graduate of Capital, and I'm a walking billboard for Capital. So that's one of the reasons that I wanted to partner with Capital, in addition to the wonderful programs that they have. So right now, we have 8 students at Capital interning there in electronics engineering as well as information assurance. Usually we have about 10 students, and we hope to have more in the future.
Now, I appreciate the airtime for Capital, but I will say that there are lots of schools out there doing what Capital is doing with Flowers. So it's awesome opportunities for those of you who have not partnered with a college or university to do so, and later on they'll share the successes and little tumbling blocks that occur. So.
In Howard County, a couple of years ago, we applied for a Perkins grant so that we could hold hands or basically partner with Howard County Community College to come up with some kind of a pathway from high school straight into college. And how could we get the kids involved in internships? How can they get industry leaders to come in and interface with them, things like that. So last year, we started a sophomore class in which we had 24 kids. And they went through what we called career research and development. And they basically did a lot of soft skills development, career researching, interviewing, resumeing, just things that you would normally do with sophomores and juniors on getting them ready for, hey, you're about ready to get into a career, how are you going to interact with the mentors that are out there? So we would do that. And then this year, they are now taking college courses with HCC in which professors are coming on our campus and they're teaching them networking skills, cyber networking skills, and I can go into a lot of details with that. But by the end of it, they're going to be CompTIA certified. They're going to have all kinds of industry certifications. Their senior year, which will be next year, they will actually take courses, full courses on campus, which will include college math, college English, and then a host of other computer science courses as well, and that's their senior year. And then they will go one more year on campus and have their associate's degree. It is a kind of a great, groundbreaking, holding hands with the community college to see, okay, can our kids do it? Are they kind of up to the task? And I can say that we have 96% retention. We didn't expect that, but the teachers that I'm actually replacing right now, because she's on maternity leave, she has such a dynamic personality that she got 100% to go from sophomore year to the junior year. And we've only had 2 kids that have said, you know what, I'd rather not sit behind a cubicle all my life, I'd rather try other things, which is wonderful. But the retention rate is incredibly high. The success rate is incredibly high, but the intensity with these students, we just introduced them to Cyber Patriot, and we didn't think that they had enough time in their schedule to be able to take part in the Cyber Patriot initiative, and 17 of the 24 students said, I want to play. And so now Northrop Grumman is coming in, they're mentoring our students, I think 3 teams, at least for that cohort, and it'll lead right into internships with Northrop Grumman, and it's just a very, very positive career path from the classroom of high school straight into the field for field work, into college work, and then they're going to be ready to go. So it's almost like an accelerated, if you will, call for getting people ready. We have 26 students in the sophomore class, so if you look at 2 years, we got 50 students or so, but it's the model that we are going to be able to expand on, and we're living through the bumps and the grinds of everything that we'll talk about later. But so far, very successful conceptually, and we're getting some funding through Perkins.
Hi. Just as the other school systems are doing, we're partnering with, in Northern Virginia, with Northern Virginia Community College. And we point out Mr. Charles Britt. He's back over there. So he's the Northern Virginia Community College contact. And the Cyber Patriot, again, as mentioned by the Howard County representative, it's a big thing in the high schools now. We had several camps through Northern Virginia. So I participated in one out of Monroe Tech in Leesburg, Loudoun County. Did one with down at Mount Vernon High School for Fairfax County. So we're trying to expand, especially, you know, again, the emphasis on the STEM education, to bring it to, you know, the other high schools in the North Virginia area. So it's a growing program, and like anything, there are growing pains for it to happen. And but it's a good thing. So Cyber Patriot's been at Marshall Academy for 4 or 5 years now. Those teams have done well, and Ms. Moore can talk about the Chantilly teams as well.
Similar to Howard County, our curriculum sounds similar. In addition to the Cisco and the network admin, we also have Oracle. The kids don't take it in a specific order. We also have A+, I don't know if you mentioned A+, but we don't keep them in a group and they go along, but it's more elective driven and actually time in their schedule. The Cyber Patriot has been very successful. Both Marshall and I were designated as Centers of Excellence, and at that point we were the 5th school system in the country. The other 3 were Weston, Mississippi, so we were pretty proud of that. And part of that was held possible because of Northrop Grumman's influence. They've been a longtime partner. They actually come out and help teach our teachers. They teach our kids to help us participate in the program. And it's a lot of time out of the classroom for Cyber Patriot to be run. It's all after school and long days on Saturdays and the weekend. But the kids are energized, and our mentors that are helping, our community mentors that are badged, folks coming in and helping from not just Northrop Grumman but other places as well, make it successful.
Great. You want to talk about your stumbling blocks and successes a little bit more detail?
Okay, so I need to paint the picture of our academy first of all. At the Chantilly Academy, I have about 1,700 students, and they are bused in from 23 schools. So this is a place where they come and take an elective that their own high school cannot offer for whatever reason, space, money, whatever. So one of my stumbling blocks is these kids come to my school and take these electives, and they want to be part of Cyber Patriot. And if any of you know anything about traffic in Northern Virginia, they're back at their school, and then it takes an hour to get back during rush hour, and then to be with me from 5 to 7 p.m. Is really a commitment. So I think a stumbling block is not just getting, where my academy is located, I'm also right next door to a high school facility. So I do draw from the base school, Chantilly High School, a lot, but I do draw from Thomas Jefferson, and as far as away, like I said, it's an hour in traffic. So it does require commitment. That's my first stumbling block. Second stumbling block would be, I don't know, I can't think. That's really where the kids come from for me.
Okay, so for, at Marshall Academy, we draw from 8 high schools, not 23. So they don't have as long a distance to come. One of the awards Northern Virginia got this past year is we used to be second, or the DC area second in traffic to LA as far as how we're being bad, but we just passed LA. We became #1. I don't know if we want that award, but we got it. So again, Cyber Patriot, we have an active student organization, the Cyber Club, after schools on Monday that runs that. We do have a late bus that is available, but again, getting through North Virginia traffic, especially at Tyson's Corner. But you can pick anywhere around here. Baltimore, has its share of traffic too. Anybody who lived through Snowmageddon last year can know that. So, yeah, that would be the main.
Any stumbling blocks with parents? And the time the students are putting into other things and then have to put into this? Because we've had some difficulties with that, my student's doing enough. Now you want them until 7:30.
It's student choice is what we say. We say up front the amount of time, the commitment. But wow, if we start at 7:30 on a Saturday, and sometimes it's not over till 6 p.m. on a Saturday, those kids are there, they want to be there. So if they want to be there, they'll get there. We started our after-school practices this week. We did have some parents saying, my daughter's on the field hockey team at a surrounding high school. Can she come late? Of course. So she's on a team in Cyber Patriot, but those team members know that she's going to be arriving late. So you work it out.
You're accommodating. Okay.
One of the ways we've addressed that is, since on the Cyber Patriot teams, we have those who are actively looking at the images, but you have the others who are actually doing the research. So we've created, in a sense, the auxiliaries, but everybody gets to play a role. So even if you don't have the time to fully participate and be there to be on the team that examines the images, you can be learning this year. And again, if you're on field hockey or cross country or whatever, you can get familiar with that kind of role and grow into it over time.
Awesome. Go ahead.
I think nationally, as I keep going to conferences, there's a rush to get to the youth of America to get them sparked. And that rush has put administration at the high school, at the school level, having to answer a lot of questions. And the communication and the openness has to be seen very quickly. For example, what I'm noticing in working with the community college is that colleges have the idea of, we have an enormous amount of resources available. I mean, they do, they have tutorial labs, they're open on the weekends, they're open to relate and things like that. And with the mentality of that, what happens is that it is students come to us, and we will go ahead and get you to pass the math competency or the English competency, things like that. But at the high school level, middle school level, it's a completely different mentality. It is that we are supposed to be proactive to go out and find the student that's actually struggling in these classes. If they're going to be taking college classes, are they really ready from a math perspective? Are they ready for Algebra 2? And are they successful in Algebra 2? Have they already passed Algebra 2? And what is the profile of the student to be successful? Because we don't want to shove kids into the cybersecurity world, say you're not successful at it, and then potentially knock out future computer scientists, if you will, simply because of a high school experience. So as long as the communication is open to, we have to know what's going on in the classrooms. We have to know what the challenges are of scheduling. So for example, we have a certain set of students that will go to the campus, but Maryland state law says that in order for the school district to keep funding for the local school, they have to be back on campus for at least 1 credit so that they can be eligible for sports. Industry doesn't think in that way. Colleges don't think in that way. And it's for the local high school administrator, curriculum developers, things like that, to kind of open up the field a little bit and say, these are things to consider. And they become the challenges of the scheduling the buses, the challenges of how do we protect our high school students in a college environment? Do we share staff? How does that look? So there's a lot of, just for the initial conversation, it is a 2 different perspective for a national rush to get kids ready, where the practitioners on the ground are saying, wait a minute, we have to make sure these kids are ready. So as we look at our other demographics to kind of fill those quotas, and I don't mean that the way that sounded, I know that's not right, but there is a rush to say equity. But from the high school standpoint, we have to make sure they're ready. Everybody that's at the table is ready. And so there has to be that open communication. That's been our struggle. It's just merely getting through the conversation to say, have you considered it? And there are a lot of great people at the college level, great people at the high school level that are trying to make this work because we see the initiative.
So while we have you, you want to tell us a little bit more about what it is you do?
I'm the administrator of 13 career academies. We have approximately 1,000 students that are similar to Fairfax in that they are bused. The juniors are bused for a 1-hour class in the morning, and then our seniors are bused to us for 1 to 3 hours depending on the day, and our seniors go to internships. They either go to internships and have that great one-on-one internship experience, or the interns kind of come into us via telecommunications, if you will, and our kids, because of lack of transportation, for example, they're able to interact with their mentors and do projects. So whether it's automotive industry, whether it's the construction management, whether it's animation, whether it's graphic design, whether it's the health professions or anything like that, we are literally the edge of what the education of college and career ready is all about. This is it. It is, can we get them ready in high school, make the curriculum applicable, and can we do it real time, and then kind of ship them out into the world ready to go to community college or 4-year college with a determination of what it is that they do. And my job is to manage that program and to manage the industry teachers that come in and kind of work with us.
Problems that some other schools may have, we've been able to minimize because I have my students and their parents sign a contract as part of the internship program. So one of the biggest hurdles is getting the students transportation. Capital Technology University is about 25-30 minutes away from our school, and we have 10 students taking classes and having their internship at Capital. So how do we get the students to Capital? And a lot of the students, they may just drive themselves, they have car sharing, some of the students carpool. And one of the other challenges is getting the students to understand that you're not just a high school student. You are a college student while you're in high school. So that's one of, or a couple of the challenges that I've seen. So I don't know if you've seen other challenges on your side or?
Not from the students. In my class, they're freshmen as far as I'm concerned. I never refer to them as high school unless they tell the other students they're in high school. I think for my part, and this is my institution, there are some who question, why do we spend so much time with flower students if they don't not choose the Capitol? I do get that question from time to time, and you know, and since I'm in the cybersecurity field, I know we have a greater issue. I'm just part of the ecosystem to help address the national issue of the workforce. You know, we need professionals, we need them now, and we need more every year. So I can tell you that a student comes to, senior comes to Capitol, they like their experience, they'll tell other students. And we have gotten other flower students who weren't interns that have chosen Capitol. So it works all the way around for us.
Well, there are some issues in dealing with the politics in some of these. You have students coming in, you're putting some funding into them. Sometimes it's your money, sometimes it's grant money. You know, you're torn between doing what's right for the industry or the field and what's right for your institution. Are you getting caught in the politics? I know, for those of you who don't know, I'm the Dean of Academics at Capital Technology University. So I feel the pain down there at that end of the table. So, you know, I take off my administrator hat and put on my educator hat. And, you know, we have a commitment to the field and I just have to ignore all the political chatter behind me. But are the rest of you feeling that, any of that same political pressure for your return on investment, so to speak? Because it takes a lot of time to do these things.
I think, you know, I think some of the, talking about admitting into college, what I do here is, why should my student take a dual enrollment course? So if they're in the cybersecurity program, they could get up to 28 credits, okay? That's quite a lot. But parents and students too, if they're trying to get into a highly competitive college, they're likely not as likely to take a dual enrollment as they are to take an AP. If you're to apply to UVA in the state of Virginia, UVA wants all AP classes and they want A's in all AP classes. And frankly, an AP to a dual enrollment in my school is different. So I kind of want to mention that you know, some students, a lot of students that we have in our program are looking at the community college track. With that said, it's a wonderful track. Our dual enrollment credits are free as of this summer. So these students can get all of these in Northern Virginia Community College and then transfer them to a four-year university 2 years later. But we've just got to get it out in the public, this opportunity. It's hard.
It is, it's difficult.
One thing I want to address as well, prior to getting in back with Fairfax County Public Schools last school year, I actually taught last school year Algebra 1 at Mount Vernon High School, but the previous 9 years I had been doing cybersecurity with Computer Science Corporation. And I'll say half the people I worked with did not have college degrees, but had military experience or were just self-taught. And you'll find that, especially in the IT field, that there's a tremendous number of people who have non-traditional means of education. And now, for example, at Computer Science Corporation, you know, we have they had a great educational package. They want these people to get their bachelor's degree, but many of them who came in the door, you know, they had a lot of industry certifications, but they didn't have necessarily the piece of paper that said they were from a four-year college. Yet, you'll find that, especially at our Security Operations Center, because of the shortage, we would interview people who had the A+, Network Plus, and or Security Plus coming in the door. And then we would train them up, you know, with industry training to become the analysts that we wanted them to be.
That transferability is actually being addressed on another panel later this afternoon, is getting those transferred in for credit.
I think the political at the micro level is more internally felt by the administrator or by the teachers inside the classroom, because they know that there needs to be success, and teachers we teachers are an interesting breed in that they become our children because we're with them a lot throughout the whole year. And if somebody is experiencing difficulties outside the classroom and they bring it inside the classroom, we kind of take that on and we become almost like the surrogate parent. So when a student isn't being very successful, and we know the political pressures on outside my doors, is to say, make sure, make sure, make sure. I mean, there's a lot of tension. In my job, I have to, as an administrator, I have to talk a lot to my teachers about there are some things you have to let go. There are some things that you have to figure out how to teach the students to cope with. And there are some things that we have to like really guide them in how do they deal with the stress and problem solve the stress. So the political pressure is outside pushing in, but our teachers don't hear it. They know it, but they don't hear it. The administration side, I'm being judged on how many kids are dropping in and out of my program and those types of things, inherent, okay, but I still want to protect my students. So it's a really interesting dance from the educator standpoint, as opposed to the grant specifications, the data that needs to be collected and all those types of things. It's just a dance, you know, sometimes it's successful depending on the year of the students, and other times it'll fall flat.
Okay. Does the panel have anything else they want to add before I open up to questions?
I wanted to talk about some of the things, some successes, and I'd like to hear a lot of the ways that you all have been successful in your program. I know that there are some schools in my district that have not been able to implement a program such as ours, and it's mainly due to scheduling. So what we've been able to do at Charles River Flowers is institute block scheduling for the internship students. We have block scheduling for the school, but for the internship students, we have them take 2 classes in the morning, and then the afternoon belongs to me as the internship coordinator. So on Mondays, we'll have our Monday seminars, and whether that will be formatting papers or a statistics seminar, whatever the case may be, but Tuesday through Friday, the students will go to their internship for whatever hours they have set up with their mentor. Now, there are some students that have to leave their second period class early so that they can get to their internship or to a meeting early or to another class at a dual enrollment location early, and that's where I get to either email the teacher or work things out with their other teacher in advance, and it all works out.
Any comments from?
I think successes. We had a Skills USA assembly in which we were trying to drum up a bunch of kids for Skills USA, which is a kind of an industry club, if you will, to kind of get kids to be able to present nationally and do problem solving nationally, things like that. So it's a really neat program. So we had the assembly, and we had probably 200 kids fly through maybe 3 or 4 times as we were going through the day. And one of the things I asked them was, how many of you were involved in sports? And out of those 200, 10 raised their hand. I was like, how many of you guys are involved in like language clubs? Maybe 3. How many of you are in fine arts? Very few. And it dawned on me as I started, and I asked the question throughout my entire population. I was like, oh my goodness. It echoed what it was when I was showing a kid and a parent through, and he came in and he looked at all the servers, and he looked at all the wires and all the PCs. He's like, this is what high school is supposed to be like. So the success is that there are kids that are hiding, okay, that we can't find in traditional high school, to say, here's an avenue for you to be able to go, and oh my gosh, they are going crazy with all the opportunities. I went to the early college program and said, how many of you want to do Cyber Patriot? And they are so overloaded. 17 to 24 raised their hand. And we sat in an adult meeting with college, with HTC, and we decided, well, why don't we just take it off the table because it's too much. And they all came back the second day and said, yes. I said, how many of you have transportation with your parents? Half of them. How many of you guys can say? So what's happening is the students that are high-functioning special ed students, or 504 students, or kids that are hidden in the corners, all of a sudden are like shining. I have a kid who's incredibly autistic, and you would see him function in society, and he would have no place in a normal high school, if you will. But in this place, he's got like this photographic memory. He's the only one that passed the CompTIA certification on the first day of class. Okay, he has that kind of, we're like, oh my gosh, you're kidding me. Okay, in a normal high school, we wouldn't find him for this success. So when I say successes, we would all have the stories to simply go, there are gems that are hidden that are finally given these opportunities to say, let me play, I can create magic, and
And
it
I'd like to
works.
piggyback on that. Sometimes our classes show them the reason they need to do well in math class or do well in science. And, oh, I have to know how to do that math problem, you know, and they understand the logic and the problem solving. So, it brings their other grades up as well.
As a cumulative effect.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I have all types of students. I have, they're at the academies, MIT, whatever. I also have, you know, all levels can do this program. In our cybersecurity program is all levels of students. It's really interesting.
Okay, questions?
I've heard a lot of you say dual enrollment classes and that you send your students to different schools, particularly for the high school students. Are there any dual enrollment classes that you offer in the classroom to all students, whether or not they're dual enrolled or not, and use that for articulated college credits towards their degree?
All of ours are on our campus, none of them are other places. And we don't just have dual enrollment through NOVA, not for cybersecurity, but we have other universities as well. James Madison, Shenandoah. We have agreements with George Mason, also University of Texas, and Purdue. So none of our programs are taught off campus. The teachers go through a qualification process. Those universities have to accept them. A lot of times it's a master's degree or 18 hours in the field of study. Graduate hours, excuse me.
We have an academy where a lot of our students are bused to, but we also have in our 12 high schools, we also have Academy of Finance, and we have culinary sciences and things like that. The kids that are enrolled in that also, at the senior level, actually go to the community college, okay, and take a concurrent college course. So they will end up graduating their senior year with a solid pathway into either the community college or have credit as they apply, as they go further with it. It's similar to the other academies as far as our working arrangements with credits and things like that.
So at our school, at Flowers, we currently do not have a dual enrollment program where students stay at our school, but we do have an agreement with Prince George's Community College where the students can take dual enrollment courses as well.
Is it a function of the fact that you don't have the labs, or
No, I think
just hasn't worked out that way?
it just hasn't worked out that way. The students in our program, we have about 600 students in our magnet program, the science and technology program. And their schedules are so tight, and part of that is my doing. But their schedules are so tight that they can't, that there's not enough room in their schedule that they can take as many classes as they want. If they're on the computer science track, they have a certain number of classes that they have to take in computer science, math. If they're on the engineering track, all of their days just belong to me because I'm one of the engineering teachers. So it just doesn't work out. So I want them.
Another question?
I have kind of a different angle. I do IT, and I was wondering for in the high school when you have like a class for Cyber Patriot, what kind of stumbling blocks did you hit there, and do you know anything about like how your actual labs are set up and how they access the Cyber Patriot and anything like that?
Cyber Patriot gives us the images about 48 hours out. So our IT person in our building helps us download. Each year we have about 10 to 12 teams of kids. So it's a lot to manage and get set up
Right.
on those Saturday practice times. Normally on the weekday practice, it's a 2-hour time, and it's any given lesson that the teacher or the mentors want to teach. They'll even say, hey, I found this week and I want to show the kids how to do this. So it kind of, I don't want to say fly by the seat of the pants, but you know, hey, the kids really, it's kind of driven by what the kids need, what they came with, and what inspires the kids too.
And like what kind of setup do they take it in? Like do you have like a lab
We have a lab.
specified for that?
Yes, and like we said, we set up our teams where some people are the coders, some people are looking something up. So there's about 5, so we usually set them around a table like this, they each have a laptop, or they'll share, and that's how we set up our room.
Can I address more? How many of you are familiar with virtual machines? Okay,
Yeah.
so the images that we get from Cyber Patriot are images that we can load into VirtualBox or, VMware Player. There'll be both Windows images and Linux images that they're working with. Cyber Patriot has different levels of it, so we're starting them at the basic level with kind of a defense kind of thing, with like a Windows 7 box. They have to find malware on the box, they have to fix firewall holes, they have to fix policies, password policy being too weak. So, and then the level of complexity goes up from there. So, and again, same thing, we have the after school during the week, and then on Saturdays. And we also, and again, everybody's mentioned the mentors who come in from the corporate community to supplement what's being done.
Okay, any other questions? We good? Any more comments here? Okay, go get cookies.